For the iPhone 3 was good, but it's just been all shit after that.
Yeah, I got to tell you, you have to remember after this election, right? You got to remember 80 million people didn't vote for Joe Biden, right?
Yeah.
And you look at the news and you'd swear they're setting him up to be like the great father, right? This
Yeah.
great father figure.
Yeah.
Just like every other communist and socialist country, how they prop their leader up to be
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
divine leader and the father
Well,
figure.
well, actually, the Jacobin magazine, their cover had him on the cover, surrounded by people honoring him, and he was dressed as Jesus.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
they didn't even be subtle
yeah,
about it.
I remember, it clear as day because when Trump was elected, we watched quite a bit because we like him. We think he was just a good guy, right?
Yeah.
And I remember CNN specifically complaining because he put up gold decorations in the Oval Office, and
Right.
how they skewered him for that. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll never forget that, right? And literally nothing Biden does is wrong.
No.
And see, that's what
Be
my problem is
comfortable
with
for the next
all
4
of
years.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of ice cream he
Oh.
eats, and like he's embracing the nation, and they're trying to erase the fact that most people don't like him. They didn't vote for him. They
Yeah.
think he's a scummy politician.
I saw a thing yesterday that it was an article that Joe and Jill Biden's love is an inspiration to the country and will save us all.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, I mean, this is,
Uh,
and then that guy on CNN who said, when I look at the spotlights, the night before the inauguration,
yeah.
the spotlights over there, it's like Joe Biden's arms are coming out to embrace the country. I'm like, honestly, God, can you
Yeah.
imagine saying that
Yeah.
about anything? I
Yeah,
wouldn't say that about
his
my own
arms are
pocket,
going to extend to take the money out of my
my
pocket and put it in
yeah,
his.
yes.
You know, it's not
So,
like he's going to take my money and do good with it. He's going to do whatever his party wants him to do, and they're going to make more money for
yeah,
themselves.
yeah,
We all know what they're going to do.
yeah,
He's 47 years of a politician.
yeah,
If he was that great, he would have solved this stuff 47 or during the 47 year
yeah,
reign that he's had,
yeah,
and he hadn't done anything. You
yeah.
know, they do the showboating stuff to get the press and everything else, but they haven't done anything.
Well, the worst thing about it is, again, I've tried to explain before to people that accuse me of it. I am not a Trump fanboy. I'm not. I thought Trump was hilarious. I think
Yeah.
his rallies were friggin' great, and it
I
was
thought he
just,
was refreshing
yes,
because he was
just,
different.
yeah, just so fun watching him jam his friggin' thumb in the eye of every sacred cow there was, and I just loved it. It was great, and uh, separately, I thought his policies were great. I thought getting out of the Paris Accords was great. I thought getting out of the Iran deal was great. I thought renegotiating NAFTA and the New Deal was great. I thought reducing the corporate income tax rate from 38% to 21% or whatever he brought it down to was great. Bringing manufacturing was great. Creating American oil independence was great. All
Bringing
of them,
peace to the Middle East was great.
oh yeah,
Renegotiating the Asian, trade
yes,
contract was
yeah,
great. Beating
all of
down China was great.
oh the tariffs were great,
Yeah.
and holding them, they were violating the trade agreement by not buying any American goods, and then saying, then calling them out on it, like all of that stuff was great.
Yeah.
And were there imperfect things? I the imperfect things about Trump just didn't matter to me. That's the
Yeah.
problem that we have, is the imperfect things about Trump mattered so much to these sniveling babies.
Yeah.
Oh, rude in his tweets, and he made fun of Rosie O'Donnell. Who cares?
Yeah.
Rosie O'Donnell, for a time there, she was the most powerful woman in TV when she had the Rosie Show,
Yeah.
which precursor to Ellen. She was as big as Ellen DeGeneres, who's now fallen. And like, it wasn't like he picked on some waitress in a cocktail bar,
Yeah.
like Stephen King did the other day. He actually said that something. I think Melania will end up as a cocktail waitress somewhere, something like that.
Yeah.
Dennis being cocktail waitresses.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite people are cocktail waitresses. you know, but everything that you're saying is that they're doing with Biden now. They're just this glorifying him and this idealizing him and all this stuff, and also ignoring his horrible past.
Yeah,
And
see, what I don't understand, okay, they kept trying to dig stuff up on Trump. I mean, they really,
they
really
they did,
tried really hard, right?
did.
And when they found anything, okay, let's go with this, right? We have so much stuff for Joe Biden, right? I mean, so much stuff that they won't even look into it. See,
Yeah,
that's what bothers me.
yeah,
It's like, well, obviously, the Hunter Biden thing's a big deal, right? Because he
yeah,
mentioned is the big man, and we all know who it is,
yeah,
but they won't even look into it,
yeah.
and
Oh,
so that's why there's something going on. Like I had an argument with my buddy yesterday. He kept calling what happened, a week ago a coup, right? He kept
the
calling it
coup,
a coup,
the
right?
coup.
And first of all, the leader of this coup was dressed up like a Viking, and when they arrested him, which is a great thing, he complained because he was on a hunger strike because they were giving him non-organic food. He's
Yeah,
a
I know.
nutcase, right?
That-
He's a
yeah,
complete nutcase.
yeah,
You had 200 to 300,000 people in Washington, D.C., Trump supporters in
right,
Washington, D.C.
right.
If there was going to be a coup, less than 100 Capitol Police aren't going to stop these people.
If
And
this is going to
it's not
happen,
like it was an armed rush, right? They
no,
weren't armed with guns.
it was
It
a
was
few people at the very front, and they were there to create trouble at the front.
yeah,
That's why they got there early. That was their plan, was to like push their way in.
yeah,
Everybody else that got in were let in, and
yeah,
they were so far back in the crowd. Like I don't know how many people were totally in there, 1,000 or something like that. But
yeah.
um, they didn't know what was going on up front. They knew there were skirmishes up front, but they didn't know they busted down the gates because when they got
That's why they were in the back to stay away from
right,
the skirmishes.
right,
It's like I
right,
don't want part of that trouble.
right. It happened to me yesterday. I was sitting in traffic, banging on my steering wheel for about 15 minutes yesterday, going, "What the f is going on up here?" And of
Yeah,
course, there was a car accident.
yeah,
Didn't know. I didn't know
yeah,
there was a car accident up there. I thought it was just traffic or whatever.
yeah,
So that's what happened. And not only that, they all left.
yeah.
They all
I know.
left. It
Yeah,
wasn't
they
like
all
they're
left.
still in there today,
Yeah,
like doing a sit down strike and taking over the chambers and sitting in the representatives' chairs. They didn't do that. They came in, took some selfies, you
yeah,
know, and also too what they're completely ignoring, both and this includes the FBI and all this. What they're completely ignoring is there were people from Antifa and Black Lives Matter creating violence there. There
yeah,
were. Now,
yeah,
now, oh, there were a lot of Trump supporters. I don't even call them Trump supporters. I think they were just friggin' like, I don't know whether they were white supremacists or what they were just assholes. They were
yeah,
just, and I have no problem with any asshole ever getting arrested. I've actually told that to my kids.
yeah,
You know, if I told my son, if you get arrested, call me up, and I will come back in the next morning and pick you up. In other
yeah,
words, you're spending the night in jail because
yeah,
he did. You know.
yeah,
you know but that's the thing. It was, yeah, but your friend, he it just was drilled into his head from CNN.
yeah. That's what it was.
CNN like a nipple, a big maroon sweaty nipple.
And he keeps going the same line, and I keep coming back with the same retort, right? He says, that's because Trump's a liar and a loudmouth, right? And I go, okay, yeah, he is a loudmouth, absolutely. He has been since, we were growing up. Tell me one thing he's lied about, right? And he
Yeah,
can never, ever give me an answer to that,
yeah.
ever.
Well, I have had people do it. My friends come out and say he lied about how he had the biggest inauguration crowd in American history. I go, God,
Okay.
Trump grandstands, brags about his crowd size.
He's been doing that since we were kids,
Yes.
right? Yeah, he does embellish everything. He
It's
does. That's
the
just the way he
grandest
is.
hotel you'll ever see. It's the best casino you've ever been on. It's the
Yeah.
best golf course you've ever, swung a golf club on. It's
Yeah.
everything the best. There's no way to prove.
Yeah, I know.
And the truth
Prove
is,
him wrong. Yeah,
it has a really big crowd. You
Yeah.
know. But,
I know.
but the other thing too is the night before, Biden did give a speech, like this pre-inauguration speech. There was no security there. There was
Yeah.
no guard there.
Yeah.
There was no. I mean, there was security, obviously, but there were no like throngs of walls with razor wire on it. That was the day before. If he was under such threat, why didn't they provide that kind of protection then?
That's because nobody watches when he makes speeches.
Right.
That's
Right.
why.
And not a single problem happened in DC, but most importantly, not a single thing happened across the country except by Antifa. They burnt down, they set fire to
Portland again. Yeah.
And they had, and BLM had a riot against police in New York City where 11 cops were injured. That happened election day or the day before, whatever. Yeah, the day before inauguration. And Portland had another. The Portland Antifa. They started busting out of all the windows of the DNC.
Yeah.
Because they feel betrayed. And it's ridiculous. Your friend is just being fed pure, good old fashioned propaganda.
Yeah, and he loves it. He thinks it's great.
It is. It's mother's milk to him. And
I brought up the mask thing, right? And he's going, well, how do you know it wouldn't be worse without the masks? Because I told him the masks haven't done anything, right? Mm-hmm. We live in the most locked down state ever, California, since March, right?
Yeah.
Masks are mandatory. He goes, that's because people don't wear them. I go, okay, find me one place in California in public where people aren't wearing masks, right? He couldn't name any place, right? And then he goes, well, how do you know without the mask it would be worse? I go, well, how do you know without the masks it wouldn't be any different? Yeah. And I keep asking him these things, and of course he has no answers, but he only has the answers that CNN gave him.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how do you know without the masks when we open up it wouldn't be any worse?
Right.
And it's like, well, common sense. I go, well, no, that's not common sense. I think it's common sense. Get rid of the masks.
Yeah.
But obviously you don't believe that.
What the other problem too with these kinds of debates too, that regular people have every single day, whether it's in a barber shop, a bar room, a bus stop, people, wherever people get together, they have these kind of discussions. And one of the things that's frustrating is when somebody brings up a topic, randomly to you on the street that they want to sort of, get into a debate on, and it's a topic that they've already been thinking about.
Yeah.
So they have all their ducks in a row, and then they come up to me and start throwing these things out, and it's like, well, geez, I haven't really thought about it. Let me think about it. Yeah, and we do the same thing. That's how people discuss. So it sounds like you're winning the argument, but you're not. You just gotta take a minute. Like I have a life. I don't have time to, like a lot of these people on social media. Like, honest to God, I still can't figure out how the hell these people on like Twitter and Facebook with hundreds of thousands of followers. I just don't understand how they're making money at it.
Yeah, they give them a little bit. That's what they do. Hey, I got to put in gas in the car.
Later.